Let's laugh and learn from this handyman.
Hi folks, thanks for dropping in today. Welcome to America's Funniest Handyman, where today we're going to teach you how to stack your own inexpensive circular saw blades so that you can remove more material quickly, efficiently, and most important, safely. Without buying expensive Dado blade sets. Dado blade sets start at $60 and go up from there. A decent one usually costs over $100. And besides, they don't even make a Dado set for a 7 1/4 inch circular saw. Did you know that? They don't even make one. So what if you want to hog out more material using your worm drive skill saw, which by the way, is like my favorite tool ever invented. I might even trade a child for it if somebody tried to take it from me. Anyway, if you're like me and you're on different job sites working for different people doing different stuff all the time, then expensive blades really don't make a whole lot of sense because they can get damaged so easily. I'll give you a good example. Here's a big dado that I had to make. And for those of you that don't understand what a dado, sometimes called a rabbet, is a channel created in a piece of wood that's 90 degrees, and it allows for a piece of wood to be either slid so that it can move freely or glued. This is actually a leftover scrap from a barn door that I made. A sliding barn door, that is, DIY number 11. If you click right up here, that will take you right to the video and you can learn how to make it. So, I had to create these big dados. Well, this is reclaimed lumber, and the odds of hitting a nail or a screw are significant. And let's face it, reclaimed lumber is very prevalent nowadays, and that's fine with me because I think it looks beautiful, it's fun to work with, and it's good for Mother Earth. So, there you go. So the bottom line is, the expensive dado sets, I know I'm going to beat them up and damage them long before I get my 150 bucks out of it. They don't make one for the circular saw, but I'm going to show you a method of putting a couple of saw blades together that will allow you to do this for this. You can do this for your table saw, you can do it for your sliding miter saw. As long as the saw that you're using has a decent engine, then you can do it. So to make a long story short, that's why we're here. We need to remove a lot of material. The joint is never going to be seen, and we need to do it quickly and efficiently. So let's get to it, shall we? Okay, you guys, I want to cover a lot of ground in a very short period of time. So one thing that I like to do as America's Funniest Handyman, since I do have the final executive decision, is in the interest of not wasting your time as somebody who is a valued viewer and
somebody who wants to learn, I do a lot of speeding
up and slowing down of the footage.
So right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to describe to you how to do this, and I'm going to be starting and stopping and speeding and slowing up, and the end result will be that you will get the information
a heck of a lot quicker than you will
on most DIY channels.
Okay, so here we go. I have my safety glasses on that also have a bifocal reading area in them. Love that. Always put them on when I'm doing small detailed work, cause I'm old. Well, hello there folks, it's your old pal Murphy, Tommy's cousin from across the Atlantic. Now I just wanted to pause here for a second to tell you that there is one important thing that Tommy left out of this here Dado stack hack. You might say it's the magical ingredient that brings the whole thing together. And since Tommy's a bit of a trickster, and so am I, we're just gonna have to make you wait until the end until we reveal what the magical ingredient is. What's that I hear you say? Do I hear you complaining? Well, don't you worry, we'll be handing out lots of helpful tips at every moment along the way. So stay tuned. Okay, here we go. You're gonna need a couple of circular saw blades. I spent $15 each on those, so that's a total of $30. A roll of carpet tape. This is carpet friction tape. It is very nice and adhesive, but it is also a little cushiony and rubbery. I already had some of this, but you could pick up either a roll of this or something very similar for probably $5 to $10. And then hopefully everything else you already have, okay? You need a compass and a Sharpie, a little bit of steel wool, a pair of scissors to cut your tape with, a knife, and if you don't have one of these for your worm drive circular saw, I highly recommend it. It's an angled ratcheting wrench that I keep in my saw bag all the time. And I guarantee you, just this one little thing, if you use your saw a lot and you're constantly changing blades like me, this guy is awesome. Oh, yeah, and you need some safety glasses and some patience for this one. Okay, here we go. First, I'm gonna use my two saw blades. I'm going to take the blade off of my circular saw, Always. Always.
Always, 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 always.
Every single time. Always. When changing any type of sharp blade, unplug the tool. Always unplug it. Don't care if it's turned off. Don't care. I don't care. Unplug it. I'm not going to touch it until it's unplugged. This one's definitely unplugged. Now, you know, if you don't work with this stuff all the time, I highly recommend wearing some gloves, all right? But my hands already have gloves on them because I've been in the trades for so long. Okay, here we go. So now, I got my 2 finished blades. We're just hogging out material. We're not making a music box or a pen like all the guys at Woodcraft. Those guys are amazing at making pens and music boxes. So far, haven't had a customer ask me for one of those things. Although I do want to make one. I'm not making fun. I'm going to take one of these blades, okay? And as you can see, the blade doesn't go this way because this engine turns this way. So the blade goes this way. So we're going to remove that. And this is number 1 blade, number 1, which means we got to take the center bushing out. And take this little bushing out. And you can do that with just about anything, as long as you get it moving. That just bends, you just bend it back and forth until it comes out, that's all. You know, you just bend it back and forth. So now this that's gonna end up going like that. You got that? Okay, good. So we'll take it off. And now this one, number 2 blade, also needs to be flipped over so that it is going the same way as the other one. Okay, but on this one, we are not gonna take out the bushing, okay? We're not taking that out, leave it, okay. So, this is how they're gonna look. So what I'm gonna do, like I'm making a sandwich, I'm gonna open it up and flip it over like that. And now I'm gonna take these pieces of pre-cut tape and I'm gonna put them on the blades. You need something between the blades to space them apart so that the teeth don't intersect. And if you'll ask your car engine, nobody likes metal on metal, so we need something to separate them. I like the carpet tape because it's got a nice adhesive side. And on the other side, it's grippy. So when I put this all together, like a saw blade sandwich, well, technically it's not a saw blade sandwich. It's a carpet tape sandwich with saw blade bread. Anyway, all right. First, you want to scratch this up a little bit. And why the hell is it that I can have so much patience for a staircase, but trying to get the back off of a piece of tape just drives me insane? Now that I've got each side covered with this nice thick tape, I'm going to turn them over because I want to get an accurate measurement with my compass. I say you want to go anywhere between 1/8 and 1/4 of an inch from the inside of where the carbide stops. I'm going to poke a nice center hole here because I want to see it on the other side. Now, as you can see, I have a faint circle, and I'm going to use my Sharpie to make it a darker circle. Took me a second to find a sharp blade in my shop, but I got one. Okay, just a sharp utility knife blade, that's all. Doesn't have to be perfect, we're not making a music box. I don't know if you know anything about motors or not, but if the weight is very uneven when you're trying to throw a disc or turn a disc, then it can really just screw everything up. So the reason we're doing it like this is to make everything even Steven so the motor works nice. Just like when they say you need to balance your tires, that's what we're doing. We're balancing our Dado by making this, which is basically a big fat washer. Now this one turned out a little bit uneven, but I'm gonna fix it, and it'll only take a second. Oh, that's nicer.
Swing the hammer, turn the screw, cut the saw and stick the glue, shave the shim, clamp the vise, cut once, measure twice.
I'm staggering the carbide tips. So these carbide tips on the outside blade are halfway between the carbide tips on the backside. I think that's good for safety and for overall performance.
Drill the hole and fill the hole, put the thingy in the hole. Be sure you're having fun, measure twice, cut once.
So I'm just gonna tighten it down and then we'll go see how it works. All right, that's it. It's on there, man. Check it out. I got a tape measure right here. Let's measure that. So you can't tell, but from the outside of the carbide to the outside of the carbide is almost 1/4 of an inch, which means that I'm going to be able to remove 1/4 of an inch of material on every pass. How cool is that? All right. Okay, so here's the deal. I have no doubt in my mind that I am going to be bombarded with all kinds of negative criticism from these old crotchety carpenters, these old grumpy carpenters that are out there, and they think that there's only one way to do anything. And they're going to tell me that this is either unsafe or they have a better method or that I should never do this. But in my mind, I just saved myself at least $70 by doing this. And I'm not going to be as concerned if they break. That's the other thing. You know, you don't break down on your knees and start crying because you busted a $150 Dado blade set. It's a $30 Dado set now. Okay? And show me on Google or Amazon where you can get a $30 Dado set. You can't. Okay, so that's what we're doing. Okay, it's about time we get to the demonstration. I thought he was never going to stop talking. All right, here's my cousin putting on all of his PPE. Oh, look at that. He looks mighty dapper in his bifocal safety glasses. Oh, he's the harbinger of safety, my cousin is. Look at that. He's using 2 straight edges, one clamped down on either side to create the 3/4 inch channel that he wants. The saw blade is only set to a depth of 3/16 of an inch, which isn't a very deep dado, but it suits our purposes here and is good enough for a demonstration. If you wanted a deeper dado, you could just adjust the depth of the saw. This dado is going to have a shelf for a bookcase inserted into it, and then some beadboard laid over the top of that. And because the beadboard is going to be put over the top of it, that means we don't have to be perfect because no human eye will ever see this dirty little dado. Now obviously with a smaller piece of wood you'd want to use a table saw. But this method right here is fantastic for working with larger sheet goods. As you can see, my cousin Tommy's making several passes on each dado. Oh, and look at Mr. Smarty Pants using 2 small little jigs to help him with his alignment on the straight edges. Jigs are a big time saver. And here we are at the end, and we'll take a nice little look at the finished dado. Well, folks, be on the lookout. We'll be putting out several more videos related to the circular saw. There'll be one on using a straight edge with a circular saw, and there'll be another video on building a simple bookshelf. And don't you want to know what the magical ingredient was? Turns out right before we put the blades together, the best thing that you can do is put a nice little drizzle of glue between them. You want to use a clear, flexible glue that'll dry pretty quick. But this right here is the dado stack that we used for the entire project. As you can see, it's not adjustable, but you can use it over and over again. I think I'll slip this into my bag before I get back on the airplane. Well, that about does it, folks. I'm here to tell you, this is a fantastic method of saving yourself a lot of money on dado blades. And if you don't like this particular method, well, you can kiss me Blarney Stones. Well, that's it, folks. On behalf of my cousin Tommy, and everybody here at America's Funniest Handyman, may your glass be always full. May the roof over your head be always strong. And may you be in heaven a half an hour before the devil knows that you're dead. And as always, thanks for letting us bring a whole lot of experience and a little bit of humor onto your job site.
In a serious way, the not so serious guy.